What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to some of my fellow Americans who have no idea how the world works. So, today, I want to take a look at some examples of a big problem that a lot of Americans have, and that is many of us assume that the entire world is exactly like the United States, or that the United States is the only country that really matters, and which is, of course, completely ridiculous and stupid. But honestly, there's a lot of Americans who do actually think this way. So today, I want to take a look at some examples from the internet of this way of thinking that Americans have, and I don't know, just see how bad these are and how embarrassing these are. So let's take a look at some of these, starting with this is a post about Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne, who, of course, passed away very recently. It was very sad. So many people loved Ozzy Osbourne. And here in the United States, this was huge news. A lot of people really sad about this. So this is a social media post about his like memorial plaque. This is like, it has a Prince of Darkness. It has his a portrait of him engraved on this like stone. It says Ozzy Osbourne. It has his day that he was born and when he died. Let the madness begin. So it's a cool Ozzy Osbourne memorial stone. So that's cool. But somebody commented on it. An American commented and said, "You have his birth date wrong. It's 12/3/48." Oh my God. No. No. No, man. Stop. This is so embarrassing. This so perfectly encapsulates what Americans do. This confident ignorance. That's the best way to put it. Like, so confident with such an ignorant statement. This woman clearly has no idea that in other parts of the world, they have different date formats, right? Like in the UK, where Ozzy is from, the stone is not wrong. She actually, she actually thinks nobody noticed that Ozzy Osbourne's memorial plaque was wrong. She thinks she's the first one to notice this, and she's going to comment and be right. That is just so embarrassing. Yeah, in the UK it goes like day, month, year, which honestly makes more sense. And in the United States, our format is month, day, year. So she literally thinks they got the date of his birth wrong because she has no idea how dates work in the world. That's annoying. I want this person to know that they are so wrong, but yeah, that's like the perfect example of like Americans having no idea how stuff works in other countries. Like, okay, let's keep going here. Okay, this is gonna be a day. Okay, this is a post saying, "Why would you post this if it's not available in the United States?" Okay, I don't think we have the full context here, but this is clear. This is clearly a comment that an American posted, and they said, "Why would you post this if it's not available in the United States when most people with access to streaming tech live in the United States? What are you talking about? Oh my gosh, what is wrong with Americans? Seriously, what is wrong with people? This this is making my brain hurt. This person thinks streaming is a US thing? Like people around what? It's almost difficult to bring your brain like down to this level, and like try to understand what this person was thinking when they wrote this. It's almost kind of difficult for normal people to understand. So this person's mad. This American is upset that somebody posted a show or a film or something that's not available in the United States. Why would you ever talk about something that's not available in the United States? The United States is the only place in the world. It's the only place that matters. This is what I'm talking about with this horrible attitude this horrible, ignorant, close-minded attitude a lot of Americans have. And I don't even know what they're going on about with streaming technology is only accessible in the United States. What? The United States is only like one small part of the global streaming, population. There's a lot more people around the world watching streaming and TV. And what? I don't. Okay. Let's keep going. Sometimes you just gotta say your piece and move along, or you go crazy. So this person posted saying, no, where I live, restaurant workers must be paid at least $31.19 per hour by federal law. Wow. Where does this person live? This was posted by Sleepy Alpaca. Where do you live? Restaurant workers have a minimum wage of $31? That is incredible. This can't be the United States. We pay our restaurant workers terrible, and they have to survive on tips and stuff mostly. So somebody commented saying, not by federal law, or you must not live in the United States. So an American commented basically saying, no, this isn't mandated by federal law. No. As if federal law only includes the United States. This person is saying it's almost difficult to like wrap your head around. They think in the whole rest of the planet, on planet Earth, there are no other federal government agencies. That's what they think. They're saying, no, this isn't a federal law. Not here, not in the United States. So no. And they responded, thank goodness, and said, it's called the Fair Work Act of 2009, and it is an Australian federal law. Yes, there are federal governments in other countries around the world. Believe it or not, Salisbury, whoever you are, Salisbury, believe it or not, there are other countries with governments around the world. I know, mind-blowing to some Americans. Okay. This is a post, looks like an Instagram or something. You need to be 18 to buy a beer. Okay, so this is clearly not in the United States, because here in the United States, you have to be 21. So this picture is like from another country or something. Okay, it's not too crazy to understand. But somebody commented and saying, since when is 18 legal to buy alcohol? It's 21! So you'd have to be born in 2003. You know what's so sad about this is it doesn't even occur to this person. It doesn't even occur to this American that this photo is from another country. This person is somewhere else in the world where you can drink when you're 18 years old. Like, that thought doesn't even occur to this American. They're literally arguing, saying, what are you talking about? You can't be 18. You have to be 21. And it's like, believe it or not, we're not talking about America right now. That's the thing that a lot of Americans really struggle with, like having a worldly view of life and stuff. Whenever we see or hear something, a lot of Americans just only process it within the context of America, America. What do you mean 21? What do you mean you can drink when you're 18? You have to be 21. What do you mean? What do you mean the dates formatting is day, month, year? That's not right. It's month, day, year. What are you talking about? It's like, calm down. We're talking about other places around the world. It's not that hard to understand, frankly. Let's keep going, though. Ain't nobody getting a studio for $900 in Cambridge, MA, Massachusetts? Is there a Cambridge, Massachusetts? I've never heard of that. All right. The United States is a big place, but anyway, nobody's getting a studio apartment for $900 in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Okay. What do you mean? I literally moved here last week, LMAO. And then someone commented saying, he meant Cambridge, UK. Yeah, that's the one I'm familiar with. I've heard of Cambridge, like as a UK. Isn't it like a university as well? Or it's probably also an area in the UK. I've heard of it. And then they say, and what is MA? Moldova? And then the American responded back saying, everyone knows Cambridge is in Massachusetts? No. Nobody knows that. Maybe Americans living in Massachusetts know that. I've never heard of Cambridge, Massachusetts. I'm American and I would think UK when I hear Cambridge. Like, I think most would. But they go on saying, either you're stupid or don't care about our history. And FYI, no one in America cares about Cambridge of UK? Oh my word. What do you even say about this? Nobody cares about Cambridge, Massachusetts. I've never even heard of it. I think a lot of people know and care about Cambridge in the UK. Isn't that the original? Ah, sure, my fellow American. Everyone cares about your copy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think even Americans would really mostly disagree with this. This is a bad take. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Nobody knows about that one. What are you talking? And this American is calling. He's calling all of us stupid for thinking Cambridge, UK. What? Oh my God. I don't think there's any helping some of these. Some of these people are beyond saving. Okay. This says, do you currently live in Russia? And they say, yes. They say, wow, that's pretty cool. And the Russian person says, why are you surprised? And then the American says, because most people around the world move to the United States. What? Huh? I'm really struggling with this one. Most people around the world move to the United States. Who thinks this? I swear, not all Americans are this stupid. This is like an extra level of stupidity. I gotta be honest, this is crazy. Most people, And then they replied saying, "No, most people around the world live at their homeland. Most people live, where they were born, or at least the country they were born. Most people most people do not live." It's sad I even have to say this. Most people do not move to the United States. Most the United States is just one small part of the planet. I think there's a lot of Americans who really have a very warped perception of how big or how important the United States is. It is true, growing up here in the United States, you are taught how we are so fantastic. We do all these amazing things. We are so important. America is so great. You do learn that when living in America, and I think maybe it's just gone too far because it's really warped the perception of a lot of Americans. Like, there's a lot of posts we've looked at today where these Americans think America is basically the entire world. Like, literally. Um, no, most people don't move to the United States. Some people move to the United States. Some people move to all the other countries in the world. And I think most people just live where they live, whatever country that may be. Oh my, it's almost difficult to like break these down because these are so dumb, for lack of a better word. These are so dumb. This is a comment saying $550 in Melbourne, Florida? Not this again. What is Melbourne, Florida? What? I swear I've never heard of any of these places, and I'm American. Melbourne, Australia is the only that most Americans know that. LOL, I pay 3,400 in Florida. This guy's lying. It's about Melbourne, Australia. Nobody thinks about the USA one on a global scale. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. I couldn't agree more. That is 100% true. Nobody thinks about Melbourne, Florida. I didn't know that was a place. So stop being ignorant, they say. That's the theme of today. Stop being ignorant, please. And the American responded, saying, "Funny, because I didn't know there's another Melbourne in Australia." That's not something you should be bragging about on the internet. That's not something you should be proud to say. That's really embarrassing if you don't know about Melbourne, Australia. That's embarrassing. Okay. Anyway, they're bragging. They're like, "I've never heard of Melbourne, Australia. What's that?" And by the way, how on earth can you tell me to shut up? We gave you the internet, so act accordingly like a slave? What? What? What did I just read? This American needs to be, what is floating in front of me? This American needs to be banned from the internet. They that's not really a thing, but that this American needs to have their internet privileges taken away. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. We gave you the internet, so act accordingly like a slave. This American is just either 12 years old, thinks they're cool, thinks they're very edgy, and they're also incredibly dumb, and immature, by the way. Wow. And then people responded saying WTF, which is the appropriate response to that. That's yikes. That's a big yikes. And probably a good place to stop. We're getting a little out of pocket here, a little out of control here with what some of these Americans are saying. But yeah, I just wanted to take a look at these because there's just a lot of Americans who say really dumb stuff on the internet that really shows how ignorant a lot of us are as a country, as Americans. Like, we need to, I don't know. I don't know what we need to change about our education system or our culture, but we need to really change something because there's a lot of Americans who just don't even know how the world works, you know? Um, but this was entertaining. I give it that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these ridiculous, stupid American posts where they're basically proving why the stereotype of Americans not knowing anything about the world, why that exists. Feel free to leave a comment. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.